In the last issue, Harry Osborn learned a hell of a lot about his wife Gwen Stacy's double life. But if it means taking down the Kingpin and regaining control of their lives, maybe Green Goblin and Mysterio teaming up is exactly what the Doctor ordered. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 17 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we rejoin the book, it's May, and Harry Osborn decides to scare the ever-loving crap out of Ben by visiting him at home. It's not just because the last time these two met, Harry kind of threatened Ben and Jonah for the story they were investigating involving his wife, but it's, as far as the world is concerned, he's still dead. That really ends up putting the whole thing over the top. Once again, Ben in this universe surprises me by just having a fair amount of ice in his veins. He's not particularly shook for himself. If anything, he's actually mad at Harry because what faking his death did to Peter forced him and his family to go on the run, but worst of all, it caused Peter to doubt himself. If nothing else, Harry now knows that there is actually a way to contact Peter, and he decides to warn him and Ben that as bad as everything has been up until now dealing with the Kingpin, it's only gonna get worse. So they all better brace for impact because the impact is coming, and soon. Now it's after that we transition on over to Oscorp, where we can see Gwen Stacy has actually put to work none other than the Daily Bugle's Robbie Robertson, using his own investigative journalism skills to try and look into Gwen's many enemies. Why would he do something like this? When up until now, Robbie has seemed so passive and neutral on everything that's been going on. Well, in the last issue, we learned that Gwen Stacy was one of many people inhabiting the Mysterio identity. And in this issue, we discover that Robbie is actually one of the other Mysterios too, trading off the mysterious and amazing magical powers. Geez, I wonder what his son Randy must think. Now that's a pretty big revelation, but believe it or not, it doesn't stop there. It's after that Gwen ends up taking her next meeting with the Kingpin and Wesley. Wilson is still very much under the impression that Harry is dead, and because of that, he hopes that Gwen isn't going to mess up the deal that he had with her husband. Your husband worked for me, now you work for me, I work for the Maker. Some people rule the world and some people just live in it, so you better deal with it and quick. Surprisingly, Gwen ends up taking these threats pretty damn well, better than she's taken just about anything up to this point in the story, and there's actually a good reason for that. You see, when Kingpin leaves, his toady Wesley stays behind, wherein it is soon revealed that Wesley is also a Mysterio. In fact, he's the Mysterio who's been feeding Gwen information this whole time, in an attempt to try and undermine the Kingpin and his goals from the inside. The best part is that Kingpin has absolutely no idea that Wesley and the Mysterio he's been dealing with are even the same person. This also basically confirms that Wesley is risking more than just about anyone else for the Mysterio collective, putting his own life and safety on the line for their greater and, well, let's face it, still mysterious goal of revealing to the world the truth of the Maker's actions. Now, in the previous issue too, we learned that the Mysterio's powers come from their strange magical artifact, a medallion that I absolutely did not clock it in the last issue, but I totally did here because we get a better look at it, has a huge eye on it. Apparently the Mysterios play hot potato with the amulet and its power, with every member getting their own week with it. Which honestly, if it is the Eye of Agamotto, that would actually be a pretty interesting way of democratizing the power. This week just so happens to be Gwen's week with the amazing magical artifact, and she vows to use it to help Harry make war on all of their enemies. But of course, before they can do that, Harry is going to need to collect his Green Goblin armor. This is where once again Dr. Octavius comes in. It seems that Harry used what little money he was able to square away before his death to set Otto up in a brand new workshop. The Doctor has managed to make some great strides recently, not only upgrading the Green Goblin armor, but also adding brand new security measures to the Parker residence, assuming they'll be coming back soon. Though it seems Otto is also getting a little antsy about when he's going to get paid, and his demands are getting higher and higher. Apparently next he wants a small nuclear reactor and a particle accelerator of his very own. Oh geez, I can't see any of that possibly going horribly wrong and ending up with someone having more limbs than when they started with. But I digress. Harry fires up his Goblin suit again, including the AI modeled after his own father's personality. And why yes, just as I implied in a previous video, AI Norman basically ends up taking the place of all of the delusions that mentally ill Harry would normally have in the main 616 universe. AI Norman berates his son for his many failures, or the fact that his company, his only real pride and joy, is being run by your wife. Classic evil Norman human goblin shit. Though, to ultimate Harry's credit, while he wanted his father's insight, he actually does a pretty good job tuning him out when it comes time to go to work. We get treated to a really awesome panel with the Green Goblin and Mysterio raiding a weapons factory owned by Mr. Negative, all while riding on the back of a goblin glider. It seems that Negative took over an entire residential area and enslaved anyone who couldn't leave into building bombs for him and his inner demons. And now it's time for the Green Goblin and Mysterio to absolutely go to work dismantling these guys. Gwen uses her abilities to make the inner demons freak the hell out at first seeing multiple different versions of Mysterio, before eventually twisting the Grunt's vision so they all ended up attacking each other, seeing themselves as twisted versions of Gobby and Mysterio. All in all, the fight is going pretty good, but there's some small things that Harry just cannot seem to shake, made only worse by the fact that AI Norman keeps breathing in his ear, basically, "Oh really, your wife is going after the big boss? She's doing the bulk of the fighting and yet somehow you're here on rescue duty making sure that all the workers make it out of the building? Well geez son, I see who wears the purple spandex in this relationship." And again, Harry does a good job compartmentalizing all of this, even telling his AI dad to go to hell. He probably would have been okay with all of this if not for what ended up happening directly next. Gwen asks Harry if he managed to evacuate all the workers and he says yes. Then he asks her about the bombs, if she managed to defuse them all, only for Mysterio Gwen to go, "Oh, I had no intention of defusing them," before eventually blowing the entire building sky high. Harry is absolutely shocked that his wife could ever be this callous. There's no telling who could have been hurt in that explosion. Gwen fires back by saying that they're at war right now, and in war there will always be casualties, and that the only way they're going to beat Kingpin and his cabal is if they're willing to do things that other people won't. And it's right around here I begin to realize the geniusness of this little exchange right here. You see, the Green Goblin shoe is officially on the other foot now. Normally it was Peter trying to calm down Harry's more bloodthirsty tendencies, but now Harry is absolutely shocked at just how bloodthirsty his wife could be, and all of a sudden he's really starting to miss Spider-Man. So much to the point that as the comic comes to a close, Peter ends up using Ben's special method to contact Peter in Slab City, telling him that it's time for him and his family to come home. And so that was Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 17, everybody, and once again, Hickman and Company managed to deliver another real tour de force with action, excitement, intrigue, and some great characterization. This is probably the most invested I've been in any version of Mysterio in a very long time. I love the idea that this is a whole magical secret society whose members could literally be anywhere. Am I a Mysterio and don't even know it? The book remixes the classic Harry-Norman relationship in a brand new way that, while familiar, also ends up feeling fresh. All just by adding a new science fiction angle to the whole thing. But the real juicy bit in this story is connected to the much bigger theme about secrets and secret identities. When this story started, it seemed that Harry and Gwen got along so well because they were 100% Oprah honest with each other, but now Harry is coming to the horrible realization that he never truly knew Gwen at all. Even in a world where Peter and Harry were much more honest with their significant others, there were still secrets and lies, and those secrets and lies might end up completely torpedoing their relationship. I also kind of love the idea that Peter's mercy and grace and just general good nature has rubbed off on Harry and made him want to be a better person. It's all great stuff, and I'll be very interested to see where all of this ends up shaking out. Overall, I would give this one another very well-deserved 9 out of 10. Great stuff from top to bottom. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.